my gosh. Yeah. We're gonna have to start that again. We're gonna have to start that again. All right. Listen, I'm sorry. Listen, I was trying to have a broadcast with no technical difficulties, but the programming that I did not work. So let me just start again. I am your host, Tanya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist on TanyaTKO.com. I help you learn how to love yourselves and one another. And on this channel, we use viral video topics as teachable moments for what self-love or self-abuse looks like in your life. And so today we're going to be talking about, oh my goodness, we're going to be talking about this young lady right here, OG. She is a member of, or was a member of Basketball Wives LA or Miami, along with Evelyn Lozada. And I know of this young woman through other vloggers who have commented on how people would continue to try to call her ugly, and it was and they were attributing it to featureism and saying that people didn't like her because she had African features, or not African, but Negroid features, etc. And so I have not seen much from her, but I thought that this story was really interesting because I saw something earlier today which made me think about Black women and how we regard ourselves based on other people's feelings and interpretations about who it is that we are or are not. And so we have a live studio audience today who is going to help me discuss this topic because I am not an expert on this topic. So I'm going to let them say hello. Live studio audience, say hello. Hi, thank you all so much. I'm going to come back to you all and let you all get your say in on the topic because I am just newly familiar with OG Basketball Wives LA. So what do you say we jump into it? I'd like to give a special shout out first and foremost to the text notification squad. So if you are a part of the text notification squad, go ahead and throw up your 10s. For those of you who don't know, the text notification squad, you get a text message 15 minutes before each broadcast so that you are always on time and always a part of the live discussions, because we jump into some really amazing topics here and it's always great to be in the place. And as a matter of fact, let's jump to a quick commercial break and then we will come back and discuss this situation with OG Evelyn Lozada and something that I want you all to take special note of, okay? So right after the commercial break. So welcome in text notification squad. I'll see you all after this quick break. Are you tired of missing Tanya TKO's live videos? Arriving late when the video is well underway or about to end? Are you fatigued of only seeing a live video randomly while perusing YouTube and Facebook? Or worse, randomly unsubscribed? Well, now you can get a text notification whenever I go live. No longer are we dependent on the algorithm of these fickle platforms. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada or $4.99 a month international, you get a personalized text message 15 minutes before each live show. Now you can show up early with the Text Squad, meet other people from all over the world, and get invited to secret broadcasts off platform. Most importantly, support your favorite independent creator. Go to TanyaTKO.com and click on text. Join the TKO Text Squad today. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $22 a year if you pay in advance, $4.99 a month international, $50 a year if you pay in advance, you'll never again be tardy to the party. I'll see you on the next broadcast. TanyaTKO.com/text. Are you tired of missing? All right, so welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And so without further ado, I wanted to actually show you a video that a snippet from a video that I saw earlier. And inside the video, it's a Cynthia G video. Let me pull this up. And inside the video, Cynthia makes a very interesting point. She brings in this TikTok that this young Black woman did. And in the TikTok, I'll just let you listen to it because I was stunned when I heard this, and then the follow-up that came after it. So here.
Can somebody explain to me exactly what black women did to make damn near every race, even a lot of our own black men, hate us?
Sure can. Took advantage of government assistance. Kicked us out of the house. Joined the feminist train and demonized your men. Allowed billions of dollars every year to exit our community on fake aesthetics of beauty. Praised and joined homosexual men while demonizing heterosexual men that assert themselves. Took our children away from us and used them as bargaining chips to further financially disenfranchise us. Used sex as a weapon in our intimate relationships to get what you want. Became the only women in the world to tell the world that they don't need their men. Perpetuated the trope that black women are the backbone of black communities, which directly implies that black men have no spine and are useless. Continually pushing the narrative that black women are the winners of the oppression Olympics while not having any metric of which they are treated worse than black men. Allowed their weight to slip such that sexual attraction is diminished. Hot girl summer, OnlyFans, etc., and then demanded that your men protect and respect you. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I can make a part 2.
Now, you guys heard...
Oh, Lord. That was a whole lot. All right. You know, this woman really set herself up for that, for delusional people to come out and attempt to try to answer her already deluded question. Why would she come out and start talking about who don't want black and damn near, what is she talking about? Like, where is she getting this from? Because if you're a black woman, you know that that is not the experience of black women who are just walking out there. Just nonetheless, I want to play this clip from Basketball Wives of LA and this argument that OG and Lozada got into. This is already exhausting. I'm sorry. This is just here. Let's take a look at this.
Messages since we pulling up Twitter.
Okay, sorry. So basically, the whole argument is about whether or not somebody's man was trying to get with somebody else when they were with somebody else, and blah 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 blah. So it's just okay. You'll hear it for yourself.
Okay, OG said we can talk. CC says she has nothing to say.
You wanted to bring up Chad yesterday. You called me ugly. And I said, well, Chad thinks I'm beautiful, because he does.
Does he?
He does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's pull out Exhibit A, B, C, and D.
Are you going to talk, or are you...
No, I'm going to pull out the DMs. Yours.
No.
Yes, boo-boo.
No.
Exhibit A, September 5th, 2013. Chatty, let's do lunch.
Let me get my text messages.
Okay.
Exhibit A. I'm getting my text messages since we pulling up Twitter, and those are deleted, and I'll print the real ones, the ones where he DM'd me first and followed me first.
I'm not quite sure how she was able to conjure up old direct messages between Chad and I. However, the main component that's missing is everything that Chad said to me.
You tried it. You're having a conversation with yourself here.
No.
June 15th.
I mean, this is just so strange. She's like, you're having a conversation with yourself, and the woman is saying that there are messages that are deleted. This is just bizarre. Very bizarre. Let's continue.
2014.
Actually, we met in 2011.
2011? What the Chad and I, we were engaged. We got married in 2012, so are you just DMing a man that you know is about to be married? You're a groupie ass bitch.
Chad, OchoCinco. It's my guy.
So Chad was actually messing with OG while he was with Evelyn.
That's your guy?
He's a good
Right,
guy.
that's why he sent these?
I never
Why he sent these and said you're just
Those were deleted, boo-boo.
I find it extremely naive and ignorant of Evelyn to literally think that Chad and I only communicated on Twitter. Like, girl, get it together. Connect the dots. The numbers were exchanged and separate conversations happened afterwards.
You're having a conversation with yourself.
That's
Happy
a lie.
Father's Day.
Here we
Oh,
go.
my chatty bear.
Here we go.
Nice seeing you today.
January 4th, 2011. Okay, you are fine. How old are you? Thank you. I'm 26.
Right.
Boyfriend? No. What about yourself? Well, I do deal with someone, but we
Okay.
could be BFFs. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe.
So
You're
let me
fresh
ask
as I want more pictures. You look good.
Would you like to know that you're still DMing him?
He knows.
Yeah, so you see, so this is you know, I don't know this situation, so I don't know what went down. There are a few different problems that I'm seeing here. First problem I'm seeing is Evelyn thinks that it's feasible or not. It's just bizarre that this woman is saying messages were deleted. I have the entire thing here, and somebody is like, I don't get it. How is she not at least being like, okay, well, let me see and investigate what the truth is, right? She's just like, oh, you're talking to yourself, but is it? Oh God, that's just too. It's just too delusional for me. Let's continue going forward. It's just like, and then she's like, you were writing to an engaged man. If your man is engaged, the emphasis is on the person who has the commitment to you, not the person who doesn't. This is just weird to me.
I think it's mighty funny that these ladies think that I would actually cheat on my man Kwame with Chad. The messages that I have are from Chad trying to get me, and the messages that I've presented are me saying we could be great friends, strictly platonic.
That's fake. That's fake. That's fake.
Evelyn's receipts are hilarious because they're huge. Like, she is not playing around. But OG's receipts are kind of disturbing. Why, number one, were you talking to someone's husband when Evelyn was married to Chad? And why are you still talking to Chad when you got a whole man? Ain't my business.
Oh, you missed the part where he said, I don't want your man to beat me up? You see me pull it up and they won't be deleted.
I had him, I married him, we were together.
That's the difference between me and you.
Did that.
Chad wants to be with a black woman. You're not black. Serious? You can gel your hair down as much as you want. You can say this and that.
Now we're doing this so she's not black.
Look, I'm going to rewind that for you all so that you all can see. And I want you to peep Evelyn's face. I just want you to peep her face because she's like trying to hold it together, but you can see what OG is saying to her is really getting under her skin. So let's just go back a little bit. Look, I don't know why she's in such denial. This is how old is Evelyn Lozada, by the way? How old is she? Let's see if
black woman.
Okay, so here, this is the part, and I want us to focus on that.
Chad wants to be with a black woman. You're not black. Serious? You can gel your hair down as much as you want. You can say this and that.
Now we're doing this so she's not black. How the are we now having race wars?
Girl, come on now. Like, we're not gonna do the race thing.
No comment.
I'm not really sure where she is coming from with the whole Evelyn wants to be black thing. Like, what?
You're not black!
Evelyn has come to Costa Rica with cornrows in her hair. I have sat at dinner tables hearing her use the N-word left and right, and it's disgusting.
I identify with being Afro-Latina, and guess what, bitch? I'm proud. So you can my.
You want to be
and
black.
You were born in LA.
Many black
and all
that you had in your
were born in LA.
You will never be black.
Girl, bye.
OG pulling a race card is a distraction. Bitch, stay on the topic. The real deal is you're messy.
You can buy titties again. You can buy a butt again. This is genetic, bitch.
With your
genetic, bitch.
No matter how loud OG gets and wants to shake her little.
This is too much. This is too much. The studio audience is cracking up backstage. I don't know what is going on. Why does she have to wind up in the camera like that? Why? I don't know why she had to do it like that. Anyway, let's I'm going to replay it. This is just too much. This is too much. Okay. So let's go back just a little bit. Let's go back just a little bit, right? Because I don't know I don't know how it escalated to that. Like you could tell. Wait, hold on. Let me hold on. They can't hear you. Let me pull you all forward. Okay. So, all right. So you were saying?
I said it seemed like they cut out the part where Evelyn was talking about the way OG looked, and then only played the part where OG was like, well, you want to be black. No matter how much you try, you can't be black.
Oh, was there a different part that we didn't see? You saw that?
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that OG put evidence out that they cut a lot of the stuff out.
Really? Like what? What did we
There's
miss?
been recordings in the after all of this, the newest season, there's been recordings that OG put out herself, that she started recording herself whenever she was on set, because they would chop the video so much that it would make it seem like something totally different than it was. And then she would drop it on her Instagram, all the stuff that really happened, and see how, and then showed how they switched up her words and everything.
Really? What types of differences were going on?
What?
What types of differences were there between OG's footage and the published footage?
So it would be like she would have said something that basically was a point, and then they would skip that part and would just make it seem like she was just being aggressive and defensive all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what? I noticed that the other young ladies there do not seem like they don't like OG. Why don't they like her? Does anybody know
Evelyn
why?
has just been a big bully from day one. Like there's multiple fights and everything with her. And even with this reunion after this, they made OG be in a green room talking about they were afraid of her because she was so violent and everything. But Evelyn Lozada was throwing chairs at people, throwing drinks at people, breaking glass everywhere, attacking people at clubs, embarrassing the whole crew. And then, but they always make it seem like she's the victim all the time. So I just find
honestly,
it funny.
I think it's because she's the most dark-skinned woman out of all of them. I think it's a colorist issue. I think it's colorism. Is what I think.
So you think the crew was
like
in
it's always 9 times out of 10 it's always color. Period. Point blank. People say, why is it always got to be about color? Because it always is. For over 400 years. That's what it's always been about. I just got fired from my job because a guy called me a dirty nigger. Why I got to get fired from my job? Because motherfuckers call me a dirty nigger. It's always about color.
Wow.
It's always about color.
See, the whole thing is
when your skin is not dark.
Conversation to the forefront on Black Twitter and everything. This whole situation, like it's been like this since 2020, 2019. Like, you know, and they've been trying to glaze over it and try to make it seem like it's not a big thing. But it's been a conversation because of this situation.
Speak up for years.
Yeah, facts.
Wow. So you're saying that 2019, the show has been colorist?
Oh, since before then. But the conversation didn't really get to come up because everybody else, played it under, played their role and stuff. But with OG, she always challenged it. She challenged it, and that's how come it became a conversation.
If somebody don't challenge it, it's always going to fly on the radar. If you don't,
yes,
somebody has to. If you don't have the balls to challenge it, it's always going to fly on the radar.
Yes.
So what types of colorist things were going on the show?
They were mean. They were real mean to that mixed girl. Y'all remember that mixed girl? She's like light skinned like me, like real light skin. She had that dark black hair. And Tammy stole her purse and was like, "You ain't getting your purse back, bitch," and this and that. And I'm like, this is a grown-ass woman who just took another grown-ass woman's purse. I'm sorry, but if I was a female, bitch, you're getting fucked up. You just took my purse. But see, this mixed girl, she was very like, she wasn't rowdy like Tammy or Evelyn. She was more of like, whoa, like this ain't me. Like, what is happening? And I felt bad.
I'm sorry, but I'm confused.
They just are bullies. Bullies.
Yeah, but they did it for the money and the views, and that's what they got paid for. That's what Shawnee paying them for. That's what the and if you in her group and you in her clique, there's benefits. That's why a lot of people just pushed it away.
Okay, so listen, so I have questions, right? So if you all are saying that it's a colorism issue, then that kind of refuted if there was a light complected woman on there with light eyes who was also bullied. So how does that stand up?
I see what you mean there. It was it, okay. I see the situation with OG was more of a colorism thing because they always mentioned her looks, always mentioned her skin color in their insults. But the show really was just a bunch of bully. That's how they got their views. That's how they made their money. You know, they bullied anybody that was new. And the only person that didn't take it was OG, pretty much. And what I've seen, a lot of people just left the show because of it.
Really? So what was the show even about then?
It's just a show about drama. It really is.
Really? And why? Okay, so all right.
They pay for the drama. They pay these people to have these kind of stories and have these arguments and fights. But
You have to
because
unmute
everyone
yourself,
has been
Stefan.
like saying that we don't want this toxicity anymore, now it's been a different movement for the whole show.
What are most reality shows about? Shows about drama. That's what they get paid for, drama. People thrive on that.
Okay. That's probably why
It's
I
kind
don't
of
know
crazy,
anything about
Tanya,
this
because
show.
I don't even watch the show and I know all about what they're talking about because you even hear it on the news, which is like, why are you talking about this on the news? And I said, whoa, reality TV has went way up there now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Got you. Got you. All right. Stefan, you were saying? Well, you know what? You all need to, you have to unmute yourself, Stefan.
I was gonna say that I could have swore that when it came to the mixed girl, they would say stuff like, she acts too white. Like, why does she have to act so white? She, this and that. Speak up for yourself more, because she was more introverted and would keep her thoughts to herself.
Did she have
I'm telling
Negroid
you,
features or European
it was
features?
colorism when it came to being too black, I guess, and then being too white. So I guess you got to be in the middle, caramel, I guess.
He's so silly. What was her name? Let's take a look at her.
Damn. Somebody's gonna have to help me in the comment section because her name, I know what she looks like.
We'll come
She
back.
looks white.
We'll come back then.
Yeah.
We'll come back because we're gonna rewind that part of the video, and then we're going to rewind that part of the video, and then we are going to take a look at what that young lady looks like. So the part with the winding up in the camera, the part that I'm surprised about with this is that it's also, African American ladies who are also bullying her for her features. So that's interesting. All right, let's take a look.
So we.
You can buy titties again. You can buy a butt again. This is genetic, bitch. With your genetic, bitch.
No matter how loud OG.
Yeah, this is too much. We gotta see that again. Hold on. Let's rewind that one more time. This is too much. This is too much.
You had in your born in LA. You will never be black.
Girl, bye. OG pulling a race car, and it's a distraction. Bitch, stay on the topic. The real deal is you're messy.
You can buy titties again. You can buy a butt again. This is genetic, bitch. With your genetic, bitch.
No matter how loud OG gets and wants to shake her little dirty little ass, I feel like my receipts spoke.
Why does her ass gotta be dirty?
Walk away. You better walk away.
Watching
I thought the
Evelyn
same thing.
walk away is the greatest satisfaction and vindication I could have asked for. It is clear that she is day-old bread, and it's time to take out the trash.
Jesus loves you, OG. Jesus does love me, which is why I will always persevere.
Just let it sink in.
Jesus does love me, which is
This
why
I
I will
know,
always
because the
persevere.
Bible told me so.
Oh my gracious. That's a lot. That's a lot. So listen, I don't know what is going on over there. I honestly don't know what's going on. So what are your thoughts on this whole situation? What are your thoughts? Studio audience, I'm gonna bring you all back.
Her ass look good to me.
Didn't you know?
Miss
I lick it.
Hawthorne, I need you all to be prepared. Why
All
do we
that
have
stuff
this?
happening that you were talking about that happened
So
last
what are your
weekend or
thoughts
whatever.
about all of this?
It's crazy because with that, all of that,
We
it
see
proved
you.
like she was really
They
getting to the
ain't
point where
ready.
she
They
couldn't
ain't
deal
ready.
with
We'll
that
come
anymore.
back.
Stop talking
We'll come
about
back.
what I
We'll
look
come
like.
back.
When
All right.
obviously you want to be me. You
So
placing stuff
listen.
in your butt, you placing stuff in your breast, and you trying to make your face look so perfect. But girl, this is all natural. Yet you want to come at me like there's a problem.
It's just, I don't know. I
Gotta
just
get
think
right
that.
with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Like she was really sitting there, basically fighting for herself because she's tired of them jumping on her. That's when the black woman come out like that, when she is being attacked.
You feel like you've been through that personally?
Yes.
And you can see it?
You got it's sometimes you gotta get that way because being a darker tone, it comes off already. Everybody is expecting so much of you, yet downing you all the time. It's just it gets to a point where a black woman can't hold it, and she always grateful. Black women, like darker women have to get a lot. We have to deal with so much, and it makes us humble. And I love it. Like, it's
You feel like because of your experiences, you've been more humble.
right,
But you understand when you get just tired
Okay.
of it.
yeah.
Morticia, come forward. You have your hand up. What are your thoughts?
Hey, Tanya.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank
Yeah,
you.
I was looking at that. I seen that a long time ago. That colorism thing is really annoying to me because every time they bring it up, it just seems like they're not really dealing with the issue, like where it comes from. And then you notice the guy, Chad Ocho, they plant these seeds of colorism and just they do all this sneaky stuff. And then these girls get together and fight amongst each other. And it's so sad because the lady sitting there, OJ, a lot of people feel like the OG lady was being discriminated against because she had darker skin, but those girls are just nasty to everybody.
Oh.
And then it was nothing but black women, who were sitting around when her and OG were arguing and fighting. And it's like none of the black women were like trying to have her back or anything. They were kind of just like, oh, what are they talking about? When it comes to, we're not going to do the colorism thing and stuff. So that whole colorism issue is just so annoying because it gets thrown around so much and it gets used in situations where I don't feel like it needs to be used.
So you don't feel that colorism had anything to do with how OG was treated on the show? Hold on, let me get everybody muted.
I ain't talking to you.
Okay, come back forward.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but like I said, it's a very, for me, because of, dealing with me and my daughters and stuff, like I said, it just seems like the core of the issues never addressed. It's always like the after effect. And it's like what the men were trying to do just works perfectly. Like they don't have to like pit us against each other because we do it on our own. Because it's nothing, the whole cast is practically black women. So it's like, well, why is nobody standing up for her if that's the case, or, if that's the issue? Like, why aren't they saying anything?
Well, my question to you is, there are people who were watching the show, who watched the show. Do you watch the show?
Sometimes.
Okay. And you're saying that you feel that colorism gets brought into issues that it doesn't need to be in. What makes you feel that way?
Because the thing is, like, when I watch these shows, because I watch a lot of shows like that, and they always have they'll have either mainly a biracial cast and like a couple dark-skinned girls, or they'll have mainly black girls and then a couple biracial girls. And if you watch the shows, they're like that with everybody. Like they pick everybody apart from the way they dress to their money, to their men, to everything. But I done got into a lot of arguments before, you know what I'm saying? And with different races of people. And anytime I'm, arguing with just, a different race of female, I mean, I can say whatever I feel like saying. There's no problem. And I don't fit, and there's just like, there's no problem. But anytime it's an argument with a dark-skinned woman, everything you say is like, oh, well, that's colorist, or oh, well, she really hates Black people. But it's like, if you listen to the people who make the colorist remarks, it's mainly, in my opinion, Black people who make those remarks. Like I've hung around different groups of people, and when it comes to people saying things like real degrading about people's skin tones or their hair tones, I just notice it more. I mean, it just always seems like it comes from Black people. And I don't like to say that because, like I said, every time you say something like that, people get real upset. But it just seems like you can't keep making it such a big deal in the community. And then when people say something, then everybody's like, oh, that's wrong. It's like, we got to quit. Like, we got to kind of have each other's back and stick up for each other, and or at least be on the same page.
Let's explore this a little bit more. You said that you feel that colorism gets brought into situations that it doesn't need to be in. How does that relate to the show with OG and the ladies that were on the show?
Because like I was saying, if you watch the show, they're like that to everybody. Like, they argue with everybody. They fight with everybody. The way that they, in my opinion, the way they talk to each other, I don't even see how people could support it. It's disgusting. So when OG came out, yeah, she is a dark-skinned woman. But like I said, when people kept saying that they were being colorist, I was, listening for the colorist remarks, and I didn't hear it. I mean, if it's there, okay, but I've never heard it. I didn't hear her say anything degrading about her skin, about her features, or anything. So it's just, but the fact that it was such a big colorist conversation, that just kind of shocked me, because like I said, it's like they're nasty to everybody. They say horrible things to everybody, but the second it's said to a woman who's dark skinned, then everybody's like feeling bad for the dark skinned girl, which is cool. I understand that, but it's like, if you're gonna be like, why is it just like you can only empathize with that certain thing? Why aren't people outraged when they're sitting there picking on people about their hair, their clothing, and everything else under the moon? Like, why is it only an issue if it's a dark-skinned woman? It's like, do dark-skinned women, I don't know, it just feels like, do they think like that Black women need to be, I guess, coddled more, or I don't know. It just, like I said, it just seems like a really every time the conversation comes up, it's always like, I just get quiet, because it just doesn't really make any sense to me. And I don't understand how people deal with the issue, or how they come to it. Like I said, a lot of times when people say stuff is colorist, I don't see it as colorist. Like I said, and then when I do actually hear really degrading colorist things, like I said, it comes from like either dark-skinned men or Black women, but I grew up in the South. I mean, there's racist people out here. So, but it's like, I don't know, I guess maybe they just don't say it to me, or maybe they just don't say it around my friends or something. But it just seems like the issue is like, nobody's really like head on targeting the issue. They're just kind of squabbling amongst each other. Like Chad has probably said so much stuff to Evelyn.
Let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. Why do you think it is that people don't make colorist remarks to you?
Because I don't hang out, I guess because I don't hang out with certain people, like people who use language like that.
Okay. So you feel that people are not making colorist remarks to you because you just don't hang out with those types of people?
Well, not just that. Like I said, I don't really hang out with people who even think like that or say stuff like that about people's appearances, especially if we're like friends. But I know some people do deal with it, because I have seen it. But like I said, it just seems like it comes from the people who are upset about it. That's what it just seems like. It's just confusing.
What types of people are upset about colorism?
Dark-skinned people, people who, you know, of course, have dark-skinned people's back. You know, I get upset about colorism too. Like when I hear people saying stuff like calling each other names about their skin tones or saying stuff about people's facial features or their hair, that really bothers me, and I always stand up for them. But like I said,
so let me ask you this question.
I don't know. Like I said,
okay, let me ask you this question. So you said that people don't say colorist stuff to you, that you're not around those types of people, and that the people that you hear complaining about it are darker complected people. Is it possible that part of the reason that they're complaining about it is because there are things that are happening to them because they're darker complected, which would not happen to you because you are lighter complected? Is that possible?
Yes, definitely. And I understand that, but like I said, I get that I probably wouldn't have the same experience as somebody with a darker complexion. But like I said, I just don't think that everything needs to be called colorism. You can have an argument with somebody who's shades darker than you and not be racist or colorist at all.
Okay, well, what about this? Let me ask you this question. When you watched the show, did you hear anybody else on the show call a person with European features an ape? Put up ape emojis next to a European featured or lighter complected person.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
So
I didn't know that happened.
When it came to insults towards OG, they would call her ugly, posit it as if she were more aggressive, put up ape emojis next to her, and things of that nature. And is it possible that when people receive certain types of insults, like you can, like calling a woman, you know, fat, old, bitch, skank, slut, all of these types of things are insults, right? And some of those insults are misogynistic. There are going to be certain types of insults which are colorist, and also certain types of assumptions. When you say that you see a lot of the colorist things coming from other Black people, right? Who do you think would be making colorist statements if not for people of the same race? If a person who is not Black makes a colorist statement, right? What would that fall under the umbrella of?
Racism.
Okay.
Colorism.
So right. So colorism takes on many different forms. And I think that it's important that when people who are experiencing a thing tell us about their experience, I think it's important for us to not diminish their experience, right?
Right.
Because there are going to be certain things that happen with them that may not happen with you. And I'm going to tell you, when I went to Africa, I went to Egypt, Africa, and I traveled through the Middle East for 6 months, right? And you see me, I'm caramel complected. When I was getting ready to leave, I had gone up about 10 shades. I became darker complected. And the way that people treated me when I was in a dark-skinned body, and you all have seen the pictures. I'll pull it up for you all so that you can see the way that people treated me when I was in a dark-skinned body was much different than the way that they treat me. So like when I walk around, people regard me as I have always been regarded throughout my life, right? I don't know whether or not I'm receiving better treatment or worse treatment than anybody else, right? Until I was in a dark-skinned body, and then people started treating me as if I were lying. They asked me where I got my American passport from. They pulled me to the side. They didn't want to let me leave the country. They were acting as if I were saying something in a tone that was more aggressive than the tone that I was actually using, right? And there were a lot of things that came along with navigating in this body that I would never have. Like when they first started treating me this way, I didn't understand why they were so hostile to me. And this is something that you may not ever experience. I was lucky enough to be able to walk around in a dark-skinned body for those months that I had that tan, so that I can see that there is, I'm sure you've gotten into arguments with Caucasian people before, right? When you were a child or whatnot.
Yes.
And even though you're lighter complected and your features, you have a mixed phenotype, right? I'm sure when you got
Yes,
into
ma'am.
this argument with Caucasian or European people, who did people assume was the aggressor? Even though you're lighter complected, who did they assume was the aggressor?
I go to jail every time, every single time.
Okay, you said you go to jail every time.
Yeah, every time there's a fight between me and any of the white girls at the parties, it's always when the cops come, I always get arrested every time.
Wait a minute, you've been arrested multiple times?
Oh, it was a while ago, a long time ago, like 3 years.
We ain't messing with you. So then you understand that people can come into a situation and say, and already determine who's the guilty one based on, and even though you're lighter complected. So is it possible that there can be a person who navigates in a darker complected body who has experiences that are different than the experiences that a lighter complected person like you would have? Is that possible? So when you say stuff
Definitely.
like colorism, you don't really want to hear it because it's overused, etc. Is it possible that you could be being insensitive to people's lived experience? Is that possible?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so I'm going to show you all a video of me from how many years? This was probably 10 years ago. So here, this is a video of me from 10 years ago, right? And this is the way that my complexion became when it doesn't even look like me. This is the way that my complexion became when I was out in that Egyptian sun. When I was out there in the Middle East and it was 125 degrees, 145 degrees, I became very chocolatey. And even though I was the same person that flew out when it was time for me to fly back in, they treated me very different when I was darker complected. I have the same happy personality, same happy demeanor, same all of that. But the only difference was what? What was the difference? The only difference was that I was darker complected. That was the only difference. Why were they treating me hostile? Could I prove that it was because I was darker? Do you think that they knew of their own internal biases? Or do you think that they would say, oh, we treat everybody the same? So
Right.
I want us, especially as people who are lighter complected like you and who are caramel like me, I want us, when darker complected people are speaking about their experience and their injustice, I think that it's important for people like us to listen and not try to invalidate, but hear them and realize that they are experiencing something that we may never experience and may not even understand.
Right. Yeah, and I definitely not to invalidate it. Like I said, it's just a topic that really irritates me because nobody's ever on the same accord when it comes to the topic. Nobody really. It's just, like I said, it's just a very annoying thing for me. But it's not like I don't want to hear about it, like, oh, be quiet, complain, and nothing like that. It's just more of a situation where it's so draining. It is so draining. And it's just like nothing's really changing because, like, I don't know. I just feel like nobody really gets to the root of the issue. And it's just like the aftermath, like all those women standing around squabbling about Chad. I mean, it's just disgusting to me. Like, these men plant these seeds and they have.
However, when we say things like the colorism discussion is draining for us, that is minimizing to people's lived experience. And so if it's draining for you to hear about it, I can't imagine how draining it would be for the people who are living through it.
Right. Right.
Okay. Well, you know what? We appreciate you coming forward. Everyone give her a round of applause. Thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Tanya.
Stefan, come up next, please.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So, Morticia, me and you, we're light skinned, we're light complected. I when I look at you, I kind of see me a little bit, you know. Um, I disagree with that. The color, it's not always a colorism thing. With the OG situation, it's most definitely a colorist issue. It most definitely is. Why does it gotta be dirty ass? It's gotta be ugly. It's gotta be the ape emoji thing. Um, you know, he don't want you, this and that. And she said it. No, he wants a black woman. And so I think that was jealousy that was coming from Evelyn, because Evelyn's not black. Evelyn is, I believe she's Latino, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but she is not black. So she does not know the black experience. She can hang around black people all day, but at the end of the day, she is not a black woman. And she's also light skinned too. So whatever. But me, what's interesting with me is I'm light skinned. However, I've hung around a lot of white people, and I hear stuff from white people that they'll be like, "Oh, well, you don't seem black to me, Stefan," you know, or this and that, you know, just stuff like that. And it's like, wait, what? And then I remember this guy really liked me. His name was Truman. He really liked me. He's a white guy, and he ended up dying in a car crash. So I went to the memorial and I was mourning. And after I got that mourning, I went up to his sister, and I had never met her. And y'all, it was ridiculous. I went up to her and I was like, yeah, you know, I miss him. I can't believe he's gone. And she was like, what's your name? I was like, my name is Stefan. She's like, oh, you're Pretty Eyes. And I was like, Pretty Eyes? And she's like, yeah, he used to talk about you all the time. He said this guy with these colored eyes. And I was like, oh, okay. And she began to be like, I didn't know he liked colored people. I'm like, wait, colored people? I'm like, I thought that I had like I don't know. I thought I had like traveled back in time, because I have not heard anybody ever say some shit like that to me. Colored people? You mean black? You mean mixed? Whatever, I'm mixed. But like, she saw me as a black man. She didn't see me as mixed. She saw me as black, or the N-word, I guess you would say, because I was like, colored people? Who says shit like that? Like, this is 2021 or 2020. Colorism is a real thing, Morticia, and I think that Tanya's right. We can't diminish these things that these women or men are going through. We can't, because I know, as me and you, when we're walking around, we probably don't get the stares, the looks, or like when we're shopping, they pass us like we're white, or they think that we're not black or something, unless, you know what I'm saying? They may not know. And so I don't think we get the same reactions as other dark-skinned women get. Like, my best friend is dark-skinned, and I remember when I was walking in the store with her, I was like, Jasmine, I was like, why they keep looking at us? And she was like, you don't know? It's because we're black. And I was like, yeah, but they don't do that to me. I realized that by me standing by my best friend that's dark-skinned, that I started to have the African-American experience. Like, oh, watch them, they may steal. Or just shit like that, stereotype. So that was like eye-opening for me, and really sad too at the same time. Because sometimes people can tell I'm black, but it's not the same. If I were dark-skinned, I would get a lot more of those looks, or a lot more of, he looks suspicious, or, stupid shit like that. We as a community have to keep in mind that colorism is still here, it's still alive, just like homophobia. And yes, honey, you needed to light that up. Take it in.
All right. Thank you
Take it in, Morticia. Because it is real. That OG was really disrespected. And I didn't like that at all. And also that mixed girl, she was disrespected, but in a different way, because it was like, oh, she acts too white, or she just too white. It's like, okay, we're too white, we're too black. Like, what the fuck? It's always something. And it's colorism.
All right. Well, thank
I'm
you
done.
so
I'm sorry,
much.
Tanya, I went off.
Allie, we're going to hear from you next.
Hello.
Hi.
Personally, I have a cousin who watches those shows. I think they're pretty much garbage, and I think they are blaxploitation. I don't know who actually. I want to say the creator is Andy Cohen. I'm not sure. Again, people could correct me if I'm wrong.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Allie? Can you use a piece of cloth or something and wipe off your camera? It's very
My camera is
cloudy.
off. Why is?
Yeah, it's very cloudy. Unless that's just this is 2021. What's going on with your camera quality, girl?
Like I said, I have an older phone. I said that in the last line.
Okay. Go ahead then. Sorry, I gotta remember these things. Go ahead. Finish talking.
As I said before, well, maybe one day when I get the money, I'll get me a new iPhone, but that ain't happening right now. So as I was saying, it just seems like I think that's the creator. I'm not sure, but it seems like
Shawnee is the creator.
Being a white man, it's just blaxploitation. They're just making money off of the squabbling, the colorism, and like to add what Stefan said, yes, it exists because I have two daughters that are considered, I guess you could say, they're light skinned. And I remember when I used to live in California, especially when my youngest was a baby, when I was shopping, this one white cashier, she rung me up. I had over $400 worth of stuff. She rung it down to $50. And I knew the reason why. I didn't say anything, but I knew the reason why because of my daughter being like how she is Black. Both of them are. But I always get those questions did you lay with a Mexican man? Did you lay with a white man? And when I used to live in Northern California, and now I live in North Carolina, I would get that a lot, a whole hell of a lot. Or just sometimes degrading comments from sometimes men of our own skin color would say comments like, well, what if you and I got together and we make a baby as attractive as yours, pointing to my youngest daughter, and she'll be in her car seat. I'm sitting there like, the fuck? Are you serious? But that was all I just wanted to say about that. And and the fact of the matter that my film teacher used to say that these are very cheap shows, and they're literally pennies on the dollar to make. And the more people watch this crap, and it's cheap, and like I said, cheap to make, the more they're going to continue to keep pushing it out. That was all.
Okay. Stefan, you had something else to say? You got to get yourself on mute, babe.
Oh, my bad.
All right. So next up we have Cheryl.
Hello, everyone. I have two children. One is dark skinned, one is light skinned. Everybody was asking about what is it got to do with color. The color is, when I had my daughter, she's the oldest, she's dark skinned. Her father's dark skinned. And when I had my daughter, she came out light skinned when she first was born, but then she turned darker. And my grandmother's like, asked my mother, what color is she? Is she light skinned or is she dark skinned?
Okay.
And I'm like, what do that have to do with anything? What color my daughter came out? She's healthy. But when my son was born, it was like, everybody went crazy because he was light skinned, he was this. So my daughter had a complex about her complexion because she was dark skinned. I'm light skinned. My son is light skinned, but she's dark skinned. So she felt like everybody treated her different because she was dark skinned and treated us different because we were light skinned or our complexion or our hair. I have real soft hair and I'm a little lighter skinned than my daughter is. She's real dark skinned, and they treated her in the family a lot different than they did my son and his daughter. So there is a complexion thing, and it comes back in slavery days because I'm older, and a lot of the light skinned people got better. If you're light skinned, you're beautiful. If you're dark skinned, you're ugly. So a lot of them are still dealing with that in life now. that they feel that dark skin is not pretty anymore. And only if you're light skinned, you're a beautiful person. And they do treat you different. So I was just saying because of my kids, and I know that I had to keep telling my daughter, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. It doesn't matter with your complexion. You're still a beautiful queen. You're beautiful. So if I see any dark skinned kids and they feel like they're not pretty because of their complexion, I always tell them, you're a queen, you're beautiful. So, I mean, that's just my take on it.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that. You consider yourself to be light skinned?
Well, I'm brown skinned, but when I was younger and I wasn't out there in the sun like I am now, I stayed in the sun because I was your complexion. Really, I was light skinned, red bone.
You consider me to be light
skinned?
skinned?
So bad that I went out and stood in the sun so I could get darker so I wouldn't be picked on so much. I really did. I was really red bone. And I stood out there and just stayed in the sun because I wanted to get darker so nobody would pick on me anymore.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for adding your perspective. But you consider me to be light skinned?
You're not as dark as some people. I'm not saying you light. You're not that they call bright light. I'm saying you're a lighter skin tone than I am.
I got you.
And some people would look at you as a light-skinned person compared to that picture you show. That picture you show, you were darker. So a lot of people look at that complexion and some look at it ugly, where I think it's beautiful. Black is pretty, whichever skin tone you want. To me, it's beautiful. You're a queen.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
But some people look at people's complexion and judge them based on that. I mean, I look at you and you are beautiful. I mean, I don't care if you have makeup on or don't have makeup on. You're beautiful.
Well,
and to me, all the women on here are beautiful to me. I mean, that's just me.
Yes, thank you so much. I do not consider myself to be light skinned, and no one has ever called me light skinned until this very moment.
Well, I'm sorry if I offended you. I hope I didn't.
No, it's just not an.
But I'm
not
some
offended.
people will look at you as that complexion compared to my complexion.
Thank you
I mean,
so
I
much.
might be wrong. I might be seeing something wrong.
No, you're not. No, I'm just having a moment of confusion because I've never been called light skinned. I do not consider myself light skinned, and no one has ever called me that. Let me turn down my light some because apparently, let's see. Here we go now. Here we go. Here we go now. All right, now say that again. Now, say it again.
Well, okay. Well, the light made you seem like okay. I'm sorry, but I know I see now. That's just like let me get out of this. Let me see. Can I get out of the light? See, we're about the same complexion. Am I right?
I don't know what we. Okay, thank you so much for coming out and having this list. Okay, so listen, let's get back to the topic at hand. Let's get back to the topic. So the topic is let me get my light back. Okay. Let me get it midway because we don't want to go too far now, apparently. All right. See, listen, hold on. See, the thing is, okay, here we go. All right, so the topic at hand, Chad OchoCinco, Evelyn Lozada, OG, Basketball Wives LA, colorism, featureism. And for those of you, listen, I'm not an expert on the matter of colorism and featureism, but I do know that when it comes to, it's just not complexion alone. It's also features. And the more Negroid you look, the more people will consider you aligned with your Africanness, right? You have Negroid features and the hair, etc. And the more European your features, the more favorable you are. And the difference between racism and colorism is that racism is a system where people who are of a particular race, there are obstacles that are put in place to stop people of a particular race from being able to accomplish or strive or et cetera, et cetera. Whereas colorism enacts forms of biases against people according to their color, and featureism enacts the biases according to people's features, so that even if you are darker complected, like Amara La Negra, so like you'll see Amara La Negra, Amara La Negra is out. We were listening to her music backstage when we were pre-show. And here we go, Amara La Negra. So we'll show an image of Amara because she is, let's see. All right. She is darker complected, but her features are very, as you see, she has, let's get this, hold on, I gotta get I knew we were gonna have some technical difficulty sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? Let me get so as you see, so her features are very narrow and slight, and she doesn't have, even though she has dark skin, her features are still narrow. I'm gonna pull it up larger for you all. Let me just get my search feature together. I wanted to cover 2 videos tonight, but this one is turning into a much more robust conversation than I had intended on having, because to me, basically, let's, where is here we go. There we go. Perfect. All right. So as you see, she has brown skin, but her nose is not as large or wide, and her lips are not as full, but she has dark skin. So people grant favor and different, so it's so strange because people behave differently depending on who you are and how you feel and what you think. And in some cultures, I used to watch Bollywood movies until I realized that there were no dark-skinned people in the Bollywood movies that I'd seen, and I watched them for a few months. I watched all different types, and I had to stop because I was like, this is not, because the color is like the people that I was looking at were so closely aligned with Caucasians that I was just like, I couldn't do it. I had to leave it alone. And so you see how we have this wonderful, beautiful chocolatey skin, but yet what people will do is they will exalt a chocolatey skinned person who has Europeanish features, because you can't really say that her features are much different than Tyra Banks' features. Let me pull up Tyra, see if we could do a side by side. Right, let's see. Oops, wrong button. My bad. Let's get Tyra Banks up here. Oh, well, you know what? You never know when people start getting their surgeries and stuff. All right. So if we were to look at Tyra Banks and Amara La Negra side by side, right? If we look at Tyra, Amara, or even if we looked at, oh goodness, oh my gracious, some of these pictures I'm seeing behind the scenes, child, I don't know what has happened since she stopped America's Next Top Model. Oh, nonetheless. So you see how we have, it seems like certain people are able to get through the gatekeepers, even if they have darker skin, as long as their features are not too Negroid. So let's look at OG from Basketball Wives, right? Let's look at OG from Basketball Wives, and let's look at her features. Right, and then we're going to play a video from Chad OchoCinco that I haven't had a chance to see yet, because, all right. So now we have OG, right? And let's take a look. All right. So now we have OG's features, and so now you see how, so if you see Tyra, Amara La Negra, OG. So if your expectation is that a person is supposed to have narrow nose and that's what's considered pretty, And then you see a person whose nose is wider and lips are fuller, right? Some of these makeup looks, we all have those days, I suppose, right? But we can't see, part of the issue is, this is one of the issues that I'll say, is that we as Black people, we don't do a good enough job of promoting features that are typical for our phenotype and our genotype. Like the features that we promote are features that don't look like the typical Black woman, typical Negroid woman. And we end up promoting people. Like I remember I was on vacation and somebody was like, oh, Beyonce is the most beautiful Black woman that there is. And I was like, what? And I'm like, remember that cover that we talked about the other day? The Jet magazine or Ebony magazine. And then somebody was like, oh, Beyonce is the most beautiful Black woman that ever lived. And I'm like, really? So here we have Beyonce, OG, Tyra, Amara La Negra, right? And I think what we need to do is we need to do a better job of promoting Black people who have features that look like the typical or average Negroid African American or Negroid African woman, right? And I think that we don't do a good enough job of that. And I think that it ends up opening the gate for colorism to perpetuate by our own doing, by promoting people and considering a standard of beauty that is outside of the sphere of what your genetic genotype is even geared to look like. Do you understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? And I think that other races of women exalt the features that are typical for their race. And they end up, saying, oh, this is what's pretty. But for us, when we start looking at what's pretty, we've gotten to the point that we have people who, for some reason, you can't say this word on YouTube, but it's BLACK. And, like when you go to catch some salmon, you can't say that word for some reason. We have people who are doing this. I'll Google it for you so that you can see. And these people are able to exalt themselves to this. I'll type it out. For some reason, maybe it's a F in the front and not a PH. There we go. It's one word apparently. And so you have people who are pretending to be something that they're not. Like this young woman right here, it was exposed that her skin is completely white. But these people, they go and they braid up their hair. So she's able to come forward and pretend to be somebody that she's not. And she's able to come out and promote an aesthetic that makes her look as if she's quote unquote mixed when she's not. Here, I think this is the original right there. So she's pink normally, but then she went and bronzed up herself and put on this dark makeup or tanned up herself and then braided up her hair to make it look, curly, right? And I think that we are actually shooting ourselves in the foot because we are creating a standard of beauty. Look at these people. We're creating a standard of beauty that does not exalt our natural Negroid features. We create a standard of beauty that exalts another person so that all they have to do is braid up their hair. So when we say, oh, she's a beautiful Black woman, right? But meanwhile, this person she's just bronzed up herself and did a braid out so that her hair so that she could give the mixed aesthetic, because that's what we love. That's the look that we like. And so we allow these people. You see what I'm saying? And so when you look at Amara La Negra, I'm sure somebody out there has done some Photoshop to take away the brownness from her skin, because her features are as European as any other European person. I'm sorry. I know you all don't want to hear that, but when you look at her nose and her features, the only thing that's really, really, really is just the brown skin. It's like she was dipped in chocolate. but we promote that aesthetic. We don't promote the larger lips and the wider nose. We don't promote that as beautiful. This is what we promote. And so we shoot ourselves in the foot, because then we allow other people to come forward and paint themselves up and still have the narrow nose and all of their European features and just paint themselves up and then be considered something that they're not. This is how we have these people like her, Kylie, coming out when she used to be when she was young. You remember what Kylie looked like when she was young? And then she just gets herself, we're gonna search for her before surgery so that you can see what she looked like. So when she was young, she looked like a young Caucasian girl, and then all of a sudden she started having her surgeries, and the surgeries that she got, she emulates a person who is mixed, or a person who is brown or darker or blacker, etc. And this is what we have allowed. We have allowed, and we allow these people to align themselves with us and swagger jack. Because she used to be a Caucasian young girl, and then she's turned into somebody who people think is mixed, and then that's the phenotype that we love. It's like we love Black people who aren't Negroid. And I think this is where the colorism discussion comes in. I know I can't do a very good job at really breaking it down, but I tried my very best. I'd love to hear from some of you out there, right? Just Jay. You was so funny. My goodness. I mean, here's another photo. Look, of her evolution. Of her evolution. You see, she was a Caucasian young lady, and then she started swagger jacking. And then now she's growing and turning. And so when we have these conversations, right? And the crazy part about this, and the part of the reason that I was doing this video, is because when OG said what he really wants is a Black woman, I really felt that, because I'm going to take a survey of you all out there. I'm going to take a survey of you all. And for the Black women out there who have, the survey is going to be 1 and 2, right? For the Black women out there who know Black men who have dated, married their quote unquote preference, right? Do they stay gone, or do they come back looking for you? Do they stay gone, or do they come back looking for you? If they come back looking for you in your inbox, trying to get back with you as a Black woman, and they like, my white wife just can't do XYZ, right? Put up the number 1. If you have not had any of them come back and be in your spaces and come into the comments and obsessed with Black women, go ahead and put up the number 2. You know, I'd love to see your comments, right? I'd love to see your comments, because I can't get them to stay out of my comments. I cannot get Black men who claim that they don't like it here. I cannot get them to stay out of my comments. I can't. So there's a little bit of a delay. So those are the responses coming in now. Okay, so there's a few. Only vote once, please. Okay. Because I can't tell you the numbers of Black men who have come back trying to do what, I don't know. They make their choice. They know where they're spending their money. They know where they're invested, but yet they come back. And listen, we can't get them out of the comments here. We can't get them out of the comments. We cannot broadcast not one day without some of them coming and being like, oh, we don't need you, we don't like you, this, that, and the other. So Patrice is asking me to repeat the question, right? The question is, put up the number 1 if you know of a Black man who is dating his preference or married to his preference, but you as a Black woman, he still comes back for some of that shea butter love. He's still coming back for some of that cobbler. coming back for some of that cake and muffins. If you have not seen one come back, put up the number 2. If you've not seen them in our spaces as we're trying to have conversations, go ahead and put up that number. Right? So those are the votes coming in. So let's take a look at Chad OchoCinco and what he had to say to respond to this. I have not watched this yet. I am going to be watching this for the first time with you all. But this whole brouhaha kicked off, and I want to see what he had to say about it. Let's see. Let's pull this up. Uh-oh. I'm trying to get both of them on the screen at the same time. All right. I want this to be larger, but it doesn't look like it's going to get larger over here. So let me see which is the best view for us. This might be the best that we can get. All right, here we go. Let's see what he had to say. Oh, maybe we can get it larger. Let's see. I have a setting for that. Let's see. Oh. All right, let's see. He ain't saying nothing. He's just trying to flex. This is not a response. I don't know what that was. That's some pure OG foolishness. All right, let's see what else we have here. That was a waste of our time. So let's see. There's another link here. Let's see.
Chad communicated with me. He's been reaching out to me since 2011. I just never saw anything with him romantically, but we have a lot.
Just so I'm clear, when you say reached out, was he reaching out romantically?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Here you go. Here you go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go. There are all your receipts.
Do you understand them?
There you go. There you go. When you.
Oh, no, she didn't. No, she didn't.
Get a chance, you can read that. There you go. All the receipts. So you tell me what that looks like.
Well, I mean, as you know, I can't see those at the moment.
Doesn't that suck?
So
it sucks you can't see it. Those are all his tweets, his DMs, his text messages.
That shares.
Yeah. Let him come and see it.
Who does that?
It's cool. Like, I never smashed Chad. He wanted to clap, though. It's right there. Please believe it.
Ouch. Yeah, you're right. There's a whole bunch of drama. It's a whole bunch of drama. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. A whole bunch of drama. You all got your comments coming in. Studio audience, get ready. I'm going to come to you all to get your feedback on this. I want to hear what you all have to say. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my. All right, let's take a look and see. All right, Kimberly, come forward.
This is the first time I've ever been doing this, so I'm new to it.
Okay.
I was listening, and the reason why I kind of got a little upset, but then I thought about it. A lot of people don't realize that.
What happened?
Skin color is a very important thing to a lot of other people. I don't know why. I don't know why they make it such a big thing. I have 2 children of my own who are of darker complexion. And people look at them and they see me and they go, "Those are your children?" And I go, you know, people of color come in all shades and colors and sizes. And they forget that even in Hispanic communities, most of the people who lived up in the mountains and stuff, they are of darker descent. And we have to realize that we are all, no matter how we want to think about it, we all are of color. I get so angry when people say there's no such thing as, you call it colorless or whatever you want to call it, because I grew up with it. I'm too Black for white people and too white for Black people. I've even had people of color tell me, "Oh, you speak so well." What does that mean? Everybody who speaks English should speak well, I would think, but that's how I feel about this whole situation. I think these are grown people who are just trying to get some money, and I don't watch the shows because I think the drama is enough to make me nauseous. I don't know if half of it is real or not, and I feel really bad for that OG because she is a beautiful Black woman. I don't see the mongrel or whatever it is everybody else sees. I just see a Black woman, a woman of color, and obviously she must be a strong Black woman because she is on that show. I don't know why, but if that's how she's gonna get her money, then let her get her money. But I feel that everybody sits around and they say, "Oh, light-skinned girls." You remember that movie School Days? That was one of the main reasons that came to light, is because if you look at it, when Spike Lee had most of those people, the women's divided. They had them sitting. He had the dark-skinned girls in one hotel and the light-skinned women in the other hotel. And they told it after the whole movie was set out that, all those reactions were real. They did a lot of that was not, just part of the movie. It was actually how they felt, and they did dialogue on why they felt that way. I hope that all of us take something from this whole talk right now, so that it is still alive and well. All of this stemmed from slavery, where the light-skinned people would work inside the house and the dark-skinned ones would work in the fields. That's still sit right here. It's still going on. I got hired for my job because they had to do two things. They had to hire a Black female, and I was light-skinned. So I was close enough to be white, but not quite white, but I'm still Black. So I don't know what to tell people when they start talking about skin color, because I was raised that you can't discuss that in our house, because your skin could be darker or lighter and it doesn't matter. It's your attitude and how you present yourself. And I don't know what else to say about that.
Shades or complexions in your house?
Well, I have Native American cousins. I have Hispanic cousins. My daughter is this is my daughter. She is of dark color. My husband is very dark. My first husband was dark. My second husband is very dark. I am part Native American, Black, and English.
The question was, why couldn't you speak about complexion in your house?
Because my mother found it offensive. She did not like the idea of someone calling someone a derogatory name because of their skin color. Okay, so my mother was a light-skinned woman, and my father was actually a light-skinned man, but because he worked out in the sun, his face was dark and his arms were dark to a certain extent, but the rest of his body was light-skinned.
So your mother chose not to speak about complexion, or she chose not to tolerate complexion insults, because not talking about it and not accepting insults are different things.
She chose for it not to be a topic of discussion in our house.
At all.
At all.
So then how did you learn about colorism if you were not able to?
I learned colorism from the people in the street. I learned it from Caucasian people, and I learned it from Black people.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your point of view. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Yaisha. Yaisha, come forward and Share your POV with us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
She got the background.
Hello?
You have to put yourself back on mute, my dear.
That what? Somebody do.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Can you not hear me, Yaisha?
Oh, I hear you now. How you doing?
Okay.
I don't normally comment on things, but tonight's topic, I think, is personal, I guess, to a lot of people. That show, I watched from the very first season, I believe it was. And I was very disappointed with Shawnee O'Neal. I believe she's the executive of the show. She bring these women on, and it's like they fight, and I didn't understand. You have women on the show who has money and who can do a lot of good, but they chose not to. Instead, it was like a bunch of 40, 50-year-old women acting like high school mean girls to one another, and I didn't understand it. But that season with OG was the worst. As years went by, the show just declined, and it just, I'm really surprised that it's still on. Someone told me that it's still on. I thought they would cancel the show, but the way they treated OG was really bad. And Evelyn,
Was it
this
worse
is not
than
the
they
first
treat?
time she has used racist words. I forgot the young lady that OG was with. I believe she was Philippine or something, and she called her Lily. That was another racist term. I forgot her name. But when it comes to Evelyn, Shawnee, it's like 3 or 4 of them. They would gang up on other girls if you wasn't part of their crew. And it was just terrible. But OG stood her ground. She wasn't scared of them. She brought things out that was real. And it caused a conversation that needed to be had. And like I said, I'm surprised that the show was still on. As far as Chad been cheating on Evelyn for a long time.
Listen, we listen. Question. Did they treat OG worse than they treated other people?
I'm sorry?
Did they treat OG worse than they treated other people?
Yes. In my opinion, yes. It was the worst.
In what ways?
By they call her ugly.
They didn't
They
call
her
other people
dirty.
ugly?
They never called nobody else that. It was another, like I said, the Philippine lady, Evelyn called her Lily.
So they called
she
her
didn't
ugly.
apologize.
They called her dirty.
She was supposed to apologize.
So they called her ugly. They called her dirty. What else did they say that made you feel that the way that they treated her was different or worse than they treated other people?
We get the expression angry black woman. She was considered angry, aggressive, which she wasn't compared to Evelyn. Evelyn has been all through the seasons throwing champagne bottles, jumping over tables, attacking people. Nobody say anything to Evelyn about that. But OG, she's aggressive and they're afraid of her.
Really?
And she haven't touched nobody.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is that
she was the typical angry black woman. That's how they portray.
When it comes to Evelyn, who was physically violent, they didn't say anything about her violence. But OG, just her standing her ground and speaking up for herself was too much for people.
So much where they did the reunion, they had to have her in a whole separate room because they were so afraid of her. That's how they betrayed
even though she's never hit anyone.
No.
This is so
she's
interesting.
Threatened, but she's never hit like Evelyn.
So I wonder why there's some people who watch this show who said that they don't know what colorism had to do with any of it.
No. Like some of the ladies were saying that they picked on everyone. Yeah, they picked on. There was another girl, few seasons back. She was a little chubby. They called her fat. They messed with her because she was chubby. And it was just a mess to the point that I stopped watching because it was just a mess. Very disappointing.
Okay. Well,
For a bunch of middle-aged women. And color, it do exist. And because I was hit with a double whammy. Me being dark skinned and me being obese as a child, I got picked and bullied on. So yeah, it does exist. My light skinned cousins was treated better than me. Outside, you get that. You know, it's real. That's all I just wanted to say.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to pull one more person up. Here we go. Vanessa, please come forward.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh boy. I just have a few things to say. Even though we're talking about colorism and such, and as I told you, I don't like reality television shows. I just never have. But I want to say this, just so it's known. Melanated women have beautiful tones, no matter what. We all are beautiful in any tone. The only thing that is horrible is when we start attacking each other. Then attacking each other normally comes from a man. We don't ever stick together and say that man caused this issue. We attack each other instead of handling that person that actually incurred all of this chaos, which is normally a man. And the third thing, she said something about being angry and aggressive and loud. You know, the Black woman. When people say that to me, and all I have to say about it is, yes, I am all of these things. And that's my given right. These are my emotions. You can't control them. And you shouldn't be talking to me like there's something that I shouldn't go through, because if I kept them to myself, I probably wouldn't be standing here talking. I probably would be locked up because I don't get to express myself. Well, you know, we express ourselves to keep from doing the extreme. And I just say that women carry the weight of the world on their shoulders from the very beginning. So why don't we have the right to be angry? Because times aren't getting better for us. They're only increasingly getting worse because we are not protected like we should be. And that's all I really have to say about the whole colorism thing. It's all just mayhem and foolishness, but we don't look at the basis of all of it. Colorism is a big thing and it shouldn't be minimized, but we should always look at each other and say, I mean, when I'm staring at a woman, I'll go, ooh, those shoes are cute. And then my mind says, tell her, I love your shoes. They are really cute. Or your hair is pretty. Or that outfit looks nice. Why do we have to look and not say anything? We are here to build each other up, not break each other down. But we seem to do it.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like the argument is sliding towards let's just not discuss it and it'll go away.
No. No, we need to do more than not. The stuff that actually is perpetuated is normally a narrative. It's a narrative. And we feed into that narrative instead of trying to say, wait a minute, am I actually being facetious right now? Or do I need to take a step above this and try to do something that's out of my character or out of the character they think I carry?
Yeah, but Black people did not create colorism.
No, I know that. No, I didn't say that.
Okay, so
we feed into stuff that has been created for us. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying we created it. No, we are the kindest and the most gentlest people there actually are. But because of what society throws at us on a constant, we seem to make choices that end up going down the incorrect road. I try to practice every day at being kind to my people. It's just something that's been brought into light by the things that I've been seeing on the internet. And I really don't understand why, but I do understand at the same time. If you understand what I mean, you know how you get confused and all of a sudden the light bulb will come on, but it'll go off again. Then it'll come back on. You're like, wait a minute, I'm confused.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your point of view.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you. It looks like Morticia wants to come back up and speak. Come forward, Morticia.
Hey, Tanya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yes. Well, like that lady Vanessa was just saying, I think a lot of people kind of misunderstood most of what I was saying, or maybe I just didn't articulate it well. But of course, colorism exists. Like everybody can see that. I'm just saying, well, my point was just like she said, of course, white people started colorism, but I do believe a lot of the Black community perpetuates it and keeps it going. And with the whole argument between like this group of women, the reason I don't get up in arms about this, that, or the third is because if you watch the show, they're all nasty to each other. So I guess my question more so is like, does it just depends on the person being colorist? Like, is it okay if is it okay if dark skinned people are colorist to each other? Like they can make jokes like that, but other people can't?
You seem to be getting confused with whether or not people who are under the system also experience and perpetuate the system under which they were born in. I mean,
right.
When we start looking at Asians, we talked about Bollywood movies and how there were no dark-skinned people in the Bollywood movies, and the Indians that I'll show you all some pictures of what Bollywood actresses look like. I'll show you what Bollywood actresses look like. Let's go. Okay, let's take a look. Bollywood actresses. Okay, look. These are what actresses in the Bollywood movies look like. This is what they look like, right? This is what they look like. What do Indian women look like? Why are there no dark-skinned Bollywood actresses? Why? Colorism.
Well, that's because the media, they want you to see, because the media thinks that it's better to be white pretty much. They think that white people are better than everybody, that they're more attractive. Like, of course, that's how the system is built. But like, I guess my thing is, like I said, it seems like, you know, it gets pointed out all the time, colorist statements, colorist this, colorist that, but it just seems like nobody's like dealing with the root cause of it. Nobody's.
When you say nobody is dealing with the root cause of it, what do you mean? What are you saying?
The people who make those comments, like the people who say that stuff all the time, like the people who are always talking about separating people's colors. Oh, you're not Black. Oh, you're light skinned. Oh, your hair is this. Oh, your hair is that. Like the people who do that all the time, it's like nobody says anything. It's like, it's okay, like it's cool. But then, like I said, like with the show, they're calling women fat. I mean, they're calling women hoes and sluts, and it's like nobody bats an eyelash. And then they called her, they said, well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the colorist comments was. They said they put the ape emoji, I guess on her social media. But like, you know, like I said, I just don't understand the picking apart of what's like, why is that such like a huge deal? I don't think it's no different than calling people fat. I don't think it's.
Oh my God. This is so frustrating. This is so frustrating. This is so frustrating. This is so frustrating. You seem to be invested in speaking about how you see things. If have you how many conversations have you had with darker complected people speaking about their experiences with colorism? How many?
A lot.
And
A lot.
after all of those conversations, you're still coming out speaking this? I'm really confused. I'm confused because
Well,
we had a young lady who came up here and she talked about OG's experience on the show versus the type of bullying that other people experienced on the show, calling her dirty and ugly and aggressive and acting like they were afraid of her and those types of things. And if I'm sorry, Morticia, if this is your feeling after these numerous conversations with dark complected people and even people on the panel speaking about their experience, if this is your takeaway after all of this time, I will have to leave you to that. It is each person's, every person has to invest in their own body of knowledge and understanding. And part of the way that we do that is by diversifying our circles and speaking with different people and hearing them and researching, reading, traveling, talking, and seeking out answers for ourselves. So I'm stunned. I'm stunned that you'd sit here and you would say that you don't see a difference between the types of attacks that a dark-skinned person may get and calling a person fat. I'm stunned that you would say something like that. I find it very insensitive. I find it insensitive to the women who are on the panel. I find it insensitive to darker complected people who live with the subjugation and with the discrimination each day. I think that it's minimizing, and I'm stunned. I'm stunned. However, this is how you've chosen to show up, and I respect your decision to show up that way. And I really don't know what else to say. I honestly don't know what else to say.
Oh. Okay, well, I understand. Like I said, I listened to what the ladies were saying. I definitely get what colorism is, and I get that it's hurtful. Like I said, I'm not trying to diminish it. And if it comes off like that, I definitely apologize. Like I said, I just feel like nobody's really dealing with the root issues of it. It seems like they're kind of just skirting around it, like at the last point.
When you say like nobody is dealing with the root issue, what do you mean?
Like the picking apart in the community. Like, am I the only person who sees it? Do y'all not see like Black people in the community like making colorist remarks towards each other, or
of course these people were born into a colorist and racist system? That's the part that I feel like there's this disconnect. People
but
of
that's
that
the thing.
race are
I
the ones who
that.
perpetuate colorism. Colorism is the bastard baby of racism. And there's a content creator by the name of Chrissy. Chrissy speaks. Do you know who Chrissy is? I see a look on your face.
Oh, no, I've seen her.
Okay. Chrissy speaks about these issues, and she's very well versed and she's educated on it. And you've seen her videos, and this is still your takeaway?
Oh no, like I said, with the colorist stuff, I kind of just skip it because I just don't like to hear it. It just doesn't, I don't know what it is. It just doesn't connect with me. I don't understand how that's more degrading than all the stuff that they do. It's like, it just seems like it's all the same to me.
Can you tell me where, throughout which period in history, were they rounding up fat people and murdering them? Please tell me. Tell me, no. Where were they? Oh, never? So when we start saying that, oh, well, calling a person fat and calling a person an ape, or a dark-skinned Negroid person an ape, that there's no difference in the insult. The persecution through the ages is different. There's nobody who was rounding up fat people and saying, you're fat, so you're going to have to work for free on this fat farm and build up our economy. There's to my knowledge, if you know of a period in time which you said you have not, if there's anybody out there who knows, please let me know. Let us know. Because racism is a system in which people are kept away from resources, and things are actively done to promote the denigration and inferioration of a particular race. Now, yes, there are people who are fat. It's wrong to call people fat. It's wrong to call people names. However, when you continue to perpetuate a system, there are things that are in place. Yes, people don't like obese people or morbidly obese, and people prefer people who are thin and healthy and stuff like that. But there's no system by and large that has kept resources away from heavy people, stopped heavy people from getting homes, lynching heavy people. If that were the case, and somebody were like, look at you, you're fat, and with hundreds of years of subjugation of those particular types of fat people, yes, then we can see, oh, well, then this is problematic. And we talked about these insults, the misogyny and the slut shaming. These are problematic. They're problematic. And that falls underneath the patriarchy. And I feel like we're conflating different issues. And I feel that there's a way that we can have an earnest colorism discussion with respecting people's lived experiences. I find it I want to use the word rich, but that's not the word that I truly want to use. But I find it's not being lost on me or on the other people who are watching that you are a lighter complected woman who does not have pronounced Negroid features. And you come forward to talk about how you just skip over the colorism talks because it's annoying to you, or you don't want to hear it, etc., etc. That's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. And it's like we can't solve the issue when we can't have honest conversations where we allow people who have been hurt by something to speak about. It's like people will never be able to heal if people can't talk about the pain that they're experiencing, or have other people invalidate and be like, oh, well, your pain is just like any other people go through it too. They called me fat, or they called her fat. What's the difference between calling a person fat and calling them an ape? I don't know. I just think that there's so much information out there. But you said that you don't even, like, Chrissy's videos are